All right, we're here for our next edition of the Horsewoman's Voice, January 11th. I got to say, Steve Searle hit the nail on the head. Women are important in this business, and we wouldn't have much if they weren't with us. We've got two really interesting martial interviews this week, as well as a woman that's working with the youth. But let's first start with Missy Rothfuss. You there?
Yeah, Eric, I'm here. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Where are you at?
I'm actually outside my barn on the phone because I have to feed dinner for the horses.
Wow. So it's just nonstop. We talked before, we started this interview. Your days just run. We were going to talk a couple hours ago. Obviously, we got postponed. What is a typical day for you just as a horsewoman? Not just, I guess, as just a marshal or outrider, but just a typical day in the life of Missy.
A typical day, we get up, me and my husband, Jim Rothfuss, we have a small racehorse stable, and we get up, we get those guys going, get them out, and then I have 4 finished outriding horses right now, and then I have a new one, a 5th one I just picked up, so I get them work or turn them out. It depends on the day, it depends on the weather, it depends if I'm tired. And then usually post times at 12:45 now, so we're hustling. Like, we're up early, we're going all day. After we're done at the barn, I go outride till about 5:30, and then we feed dinner, go home, eat dinner ourselves, go to bed, and start it all over again.
So I guess how many days a week right now are you outriding?
It was 4. We're down to 3 until April, I think it is.
Okay.
So now that, we've been down, I picked up some new clients. I have been horse shopping for them and giving their daughters riding lessons. So I've been doing that on the side now, too.
So you work with clients, like you were telling me earlier, due to the delay, you had a client that basically bought a farm and they're looking to get a couple head to basically, I guess, with their children?
For their children, they bought a farm, their girls love horses, and the guy that owned, the previous owner, hooked me up with them, and he told them that, I'm one of the best riders he knows, to get with me, so I already found them 3 horses.
Wow.
We're working on a 4th. I just had lessons today. That was what held us up, because I left my phone in the barn because I was helping them. But I go out there a couple times a week and help them, and I have an assistant, Savannah Bernard. She comes with me. She rides some of my outriding horses for me. She exercises them some days of the week when I get too busy.
Gotcha.
And she was actually one of my original students when she was 9. She's 16 now.
Wow. Let's jump right in. I see there's a bay, there's a chestnut, but there's this palomino that you were telling me before we started talking. You were talking about obviously finding horses for people, but there's a special story behind this palomino?
The palomino, that's Dude. Dude came from a kill pen. He was $500. He was on Facebook, one of those bleeding heart sites, please save me. And a lot of my horses, even before it was cool to buy from a kill pen or buy from a sale like that, a lot of my horses always came from there. Growing up, that's all we used to do. My mom and my aunt would take us to the Waynesburg auction. We'd pick out, bring home couple horses, they throw me on, ride them, we'd work them, and then we'd resell them. And that was just what I know. I'm good with a problem horse. Now give me a $20,000 well-broke horse, it won't do nothing for me. I've been there, done that. It won't work for me. But you can give me a $500 reject, and I'll make it a gold mine.
Wow. So let's go to the bay, and let's start looking at some of these action shots. You've been in social media lately with some loose horses. Let's talk about the bay.
The Bay Salem, I've had him, he's 25. I've had him since a 3-year-old. I broke him out myself. And in the beginning, it took him a while to grow up, and I absolutely hated him in the beginning. He was immature. He's a very strong-willed horse. You're not going to tell him what to do. And then it was like he turned about 8 or 9, and it clicked in his brain that this is what he likes to do, and he started working really good. Well, then about, I think it was 10 years ago, he foundered on me, and the vets told me to put him down. He'll not even be a pasture pet. He won't be anything. Won't even be, nothing.
And here you are 13 years later, and you're still riding him.
He's still riding. He still runs it. Last year at this time, he ran a horse with a broken line in a race down from behind. Like, he was 24 years old and foundered. He shouldn't do this, but you never know unless you look at his feet.
Wow.
He doesn't look it. He doesn't act it. He's actually my toughest horse to ride.
So is he your primary horse that you're using when you're out there, or do you share, I guess, between?
I use one horse a day. I have 4 horses right now. I have Salem, Dude. I have a little paint I just picked up in July out of a sale. Tico, who made an amazing catch with Jasmine Arnold at Jugweed.
Yep.
And that was he didn't even know what he's doing. He's just out there like, oh, I'm going fast. And, he's turned out, that horse is too smart. Like, he's so smart. I call him my mini Salem, though.
So the horse that you're referencing was the horse that blew up on social media with Jazz when she caught that horse. I mean, what was, I guess, if we can do this, I know you don't want to say this, but what was your first marshalling experience on a track?
My first marshalling experience wasn't like Jazz's. I had a loose horse. I had a very bad garbage horse. He was so bad that, like, if a horse would stop and want to go, he'd stop and want to go near him. So I'm a very gutsy rider. Like, I swell up. When things go wrong, I'm better when things go wrong. When things are, like, nothing's going on, I'm my own worst enemy then. But when things are wrong, I don't even think about it. I just do it. I had a loose horse, and I caught the horse. I'm like, get off the bad horse. And I'm like, yeah, I caught this horse. I'm all excited. And when all the bike shaft was broke, it smashed him in the stifle, and he started bucking, and away I sailed right head first into the winner's circle.
Do we have video? I mean, can we get a copy of this? I mean, it was an embarrassing moment, but I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm just kidding. Let's move on to the chestnut. You say that you train horses all the time. There's a shot here of a chestnut in a parking lot. Is he ready to go on track, or are you still training him?
I know you want to move on, but that was on tape, and I'm sad I didn't get to see it.
I don't want to put it. I don't want anybody to find it. Come on.
Because you know what? A lot of these outriders beat themselves up too much when things go wrong. And you can't, you can only do what you can do.
What do you mean beat up? Like, you just beat yourselves up in your head, or just what?
Beat yourself up in your head, like, oh, I could have did better, I missed that horse. But you're not going to catch every horse.
So you're always critiquing yourself is what you're saying.
We're always we're the hardest people on ourselves. And then there, unfortunately, I mean, this is going to sound bad, there's some horsemen that are really nasty when things go wrong.
Wow.
And a lot of these young girls, I feel bad for, because some of these horsemen are like, well, so-and-so could have done it. Yeah, well, okay, me and Salem been doing it for 20 years. We could do it in our sleep. You know, when you learn, you're going to mess up. I still mess up. I tell them all the time, I still mess up.
I'm going to give a shout out to Sis. I mean, she had Chubby on the network here in Chicago, and Chubby was the best. I mean, everybody knew Chubby. So you're saying he's like that type of horse?
Yeah, Sis has one of my horses that I couldn't get along with, Blackie. That's one of, that horse hated me. I hated him, but loved it. I mean, that's how it goes. It's like horse racing, and it's a tough job, and nobody ever...
this could be another angle, and this could get interesting. Sis is a Pisces. I'm a Pisces on the cusp. Can I ask what star sign you are, or when your birthday is without the year?
I'm a Sagittarius.
So you're a horsewoman, literally.
Yeah. I'm literally a horsewoman, but there's certain horses I do not get. Thoroughbreds, I have never gone along with a thoroughbred.
Interesting.
In fact, that red horse that you were referencing, that's a thoroughbred. Tia Schaefer, who is amazing with thoroughbreds. She gets these things off the track, breaks them. She makes them look so good. I'm like, oh, I can do that. I know how to break horses. I'm going to get a thoroughbred. Yeah, that lasts for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, I don't want this horse anymore. Please take it away from me.
Wow.
I just can't get along with that breed. I don't know if it's a lot of patience, like Tia says. I just don't click. I think, is Tia a Pisces?
See what I mean? And it's like older spirits get along with older spirits. Most horses are bred to be full January, February, March. Some go into April, some might go into May, but people don't realize that astrology actually plays a key.
Yes. Now I'm looking up to see what Tia is.
And that's what you do. People can go to U.S. Trotting, the infamous regulatory agency that is I guess what? They just hold information. That's all they're known for. So, people can go to Horse Tattoo Search and just type in a name and find that information for free. You don't have to give them your money all the time. So, let's just do like a little, I guess, I don't know, a scenario here, okay? You're on the wire. You're just, up on the apron. You're talking to some patrons, what have you, smiling, people taking pictures. Boom. You got a loose horse on a 3/4. You got to come around. What do you do?
If I was at the Meadows and it's at the 3/4, and I'm talking to people that I never, and everybody knows if I'm talking to you, I'm not watching you. I don't look at you. I'm watching the race. Depending on which way the horse, I evaluate which way the horse is going to go.
But the horse is behind you. You're on the wire. So do you turn and go back, or do you come around the first turn and swing around so you got that angle?
It depends. Again, it depends where the horse is, which way the horse is going. If he's behind me, if he's turned around and gone the other way, because if we're going at the Meadows where I ride, if I'm at the wire, the 3/4 is straight across the ditch, or the big gully. So if he's coming around behind me, I would swing into the infield, or not the infield, inside the pylons, cut off time to stick back out, and try to grab him that way. Now, if he's coming with the race, I would go down inside the pylon and then try to set up to wait for him to come to me.
Okay, so now you've come up to the horse.
Yes.
Okay, so we know there's the bit loop and there's a bridle. Who knows if it's open, if it's closed, if there's a shadow roll. What do you do when you actually get up to the horse? How do you actually latch on? Is it a finger, 2 fingers? What do you do? Are you talking to the driver? Let's just boom, intense. Right now, you got to do it. What's happening? Yeah. What's going through your mind?
It's focusing on the horse and still surveying everything that's going around me, because I've had times I've been out there, like they do have a rule now, well they did, nobody's allowed on the track if there's a wreck, because I've almost run people over, because I'm not looking for you. I'm looking at that loose horse.
Wow.
And luckily my horse paid attention and shied, and I'm beating him because I'm mad at him, because you don't shy. You know better. I'm like cracking him with my leg and everything, and I look, and there was a lady there, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I was going to kill her. But I look at the horse. I am one, too, and I learned from experience, I do not hurry up and grab. You get yanked off that way. I let my horse get up there. If the horse isn't shying, they're all going to shy from you a little bit. I kind of let my horse get up. I reach over, I grab. I do have a habit of putting 2 fingers in the bit to pull back. I don't know why I do that. It's just always been a habit of mine. Everybody catches different. And it depends what you have. Like with Chris Shaw, when he had the broken line,
yep.
I couldn't catch on the side that had the line because I was going to send him into the race. I had to go on the side that didn't have the line, and I had to use the overcheck to pull the horse up.
Wow.
So everything you have to play out quick in your mind. Like everybody's, oh, you got to catch the horse quick. No, you got to be smart and look. If I go here, you got to be able to think on your feet. If I do this, like if I would have went in on Chris with the broken line, I would have sent him right into the race and took out everybody.
Wow.
So, I had to reroute and I had to come from behind, and then I had to use the overcheck. And what's nice is Chris is very laid back, so we work together. Where sometimes you get drivers and they're like, oh my God, help me, and they're screaming your name, and you're like, calm down.
Well, I mean, do they sometimes spook the horse when they scream like that?
Yeah, they do spook the horse, because a horse is natural. A horse feeds off of us. And that's what a lot of people don't, like when you're scared, the horse is like, oh my God, what's going on? And it doesn't spook my horses, because mine have been taught, like, you listen to me, that's it. You don't freak out what the racehorse is doing, what the driver's doing. Like, they listen to me. Like, I put a lot of time in on mine to make sure they can handle anything.
Wow.
And
wow.
It's different. I mean,
it's going to be interesting to see. We've got 3 interviews this week, and we're going to split everybody off individually, later in the week. But it's just going to be really interesting to see what Sherry's perspective is, and let's see what she says when she's running up on a horse. Is there anybody, I guess, in the industry that you want to give a special shout out to that has, I guess, helped you over the years? Obviously, your parents. Was there anybody in particular that you've, I guess, been groomed by that was, you were a protege from?
Actually, back in the day, I learned from drivers. When I started, we were parade marshals. Like, I wasn't even really supposed to catch that horse. I was just, hey, that's, oh, okay. When I took the job over, Georgie Brennan and Brian Sears took me under their wing, Don Rothfuss, like, they tortured me out there.
Wow.
They brought horses, they made me turn, they made me, run them down, but it taught me how to do the job. Like, they worked for me. They worked with me to teach me. But, in the same sense, the better I became, the more I could help them.
Exactly.
And, I can remember this one horse, Benedict Pitino was his name. This horse pulled me off my horse not once, but twice. Because he'd rear in the air, and when he'd rear, he'd do it so quick, he'd rip away from you and take you with him. So that's why, like, now I don't touch rears. I'll yell, I'll push my horse into him. I won't touch him because I'm not hitting the track anymore. And I can remember he pulled me off, and I landed on my butt. My horse, like, trotted a couple feet away. And Donnie Rothfuss and Ray Paver come by me, and they're like, get up, you're embarrassing us, get up.
Wow.
And some of the stuff I've been through, I should still be doing it 25 years later because, but that's the thing. You mess up at this job. You're going to hit the track. Your horse is going to act like an idiot. You're not going to catch that horse. You're human.
Let me ask you this. You got me to think. I'm going to ask this to Sherry as well. She marshaled for 30 years. Do you guys, like Mike Bozich said last week, the announcers share information and critique each other and, share knowledge of the sport. Do you guys do that as well, the fellow marshalers / outriders? Do you guys...
Yes, I do. I am always willing to help anybody. Like, I've sent horses to people. I help people train theirs. Tia Schaefer and me and Cindy Johnson, when she used to ride, we'd always chat back and forth. Like, if we knew that we had a bad horse coming over to the Ohio race, I text Cindy, hey, this horse, blah, blah, blah. Tia, the other day I had a horse that she ponied in Poconos, and I said, hey, this horse, when I turned him, he folded on me. Did he do that to you? And she's like, yeah, I wish you would have texted me earlier about this horse. She goes, you don't turn him. And, like, so we've always, like, there's a group of us that we try to help each other out. We try to, like, keep everybody safe. We complain about stuff that goes wrong out there when we're frustrated. We pick each other up when we're beating ourselves up.
So would you say that it's more of like a sisterly, fraternity-ish kind of bond between you guys? Because it's such a niche, and it's just such a, I don't want to say underrepresented, but I want to say, it's just, you guys have the most important job on the track.
Well, thank you, because a lot of people, it's starting to become like, I want to say thanks to Chris Gooden, taking pictures of me doing stuff out there has really put outriders, like, hey, they're important. We're not just out there to wave and look pretty. We actually have a job that keeps these $100,000 horses you buy safe.
That's right.
And, it's starting to become, at least tracks now are getting outriders. Like, back when I started, many tracks didn't have outriders. Now tracks are starting to get outriders. They're wanting outriders. They want outriders that can do the job. And, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication to do the job.
So it's not like just wearing your uniform in the red, white, and blue and carrying the flag. It's like, this is the down and dirty. You guys are out there. I saw Nat when I was in the infield, and I'm going to bring this up with Sherry. Just the authority that she has on the track when she was down at Oak Grove. It's just, the respect for you guys is just second to none. And I really respect what you do out there, and I really appreciate your time. We've gone way over, but you know what? It's been worth it. I love the stories. I'm sure you have a million more. I look forward to, I look forward to maybe tapping into you in the spring, or if something goes down, or not literally, but if something happens, I'm sorry, get in touch. And if there's a loose horse, if it's like the loose deuce we had in Maywood, back in the day, or if it's something like it happened with Jazz, and I'm going to say this to all the outriders, get in touch. Let's hear what happened. Let's get some pictures. Let's expose what you guys really do. Because again, I've known, being a third generation horse person, it's scary out there. And, the respect has to be shown for, what you guys do out there.
Oh, thank you. That would be great, actually. Like a lot, it should be, because there's a lot of young outriders coming up right now. Like, it shouldn't just be me all the time. That there's a lot of good girls out there and guys that are riding.
Well, anybody out there that's listening that knows Missy firsthand or is in this little, I guess, fraternity clique or sorority clique of marshalling and outriding, just get in touch. But again, we really, really appreciate your time and wish you the best.